Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
Friends, Romans, diddlers. Lend us your ears, for today marks the halfway point, the year of our Lord 2023. So here are the half-prestigious, half-year Culty Awards.
Yeah.
As decided by the half-men, half-amazing Ross and Jack, with me and Puppet Jack being the deciders, of course. Are you two lads ready to look back the last 6 months?
I'm so ready. Have you done a lot of prep?
I've done a fair amount of prep.
Same, I've really thought about this.
I feel like a politician more than someone who's voting on wrestling awards.
I know exactly what you
So
mean.
I've got monologues prepared and fists of beer shaken
My goodness.
in more ways than one.
Oh,
Have you?
on that excited level.
Are we going to do the thing as well where after me and Ross have given, are you going to throw in some, I like when you go like, there was also this.
Yeah.
You throw in some supplemental, that's the word. I was looking
Maffew's
for.
awesome pick.
Well, pal, I like your pick there, but I've got a few of my...
People who follow Maffew on Twitter.
Have you seen Hayden Vancy Wanson in WXW? Remember that? That's a
who are you to
throwback.
doubt Haiti Vance and once?
Yeah.
But let's start off with the first category. Most underrated. Ooh. Seamless. So, Jack, we'll start with yourself.
Okay.
Who have you got for most underrated?
So privately to Ross before this video, I confided in him. I went, I'm scared Matthew's going to laugh at this pick.
Oh, I better put my water down there. Thank you for giving us a heads up.
Because it's someone that I've never really heard us say many good things about on the podcast.
Okay, that's fair
But
enough.
I don't think that's his fault. First, I was considering people like Steve Macklin in Impact, but then I thought he was until very recently the champion. So clearly he's rated by some. I also thought of, because Stardom was my promotion of last year, I thought maybe Hazuki from Stardom. But again, the Stardom fandom seem to already think she's very highly rated as far as I can tell. So I went for someone who, as far as I can tell, is good in the ring, good on the mic, but constantly hamstrung by terrible booking and a cringeworthy gimmick, and that's Joe Gacy.
Ah, that's nice.
A smirk, a smile, a smirk, but not a laugh. With a few tweaks, I think Gacy could be a genuinely sinister and creepy gimmick, but in the silly cartoon world of NXT, it is impossible to take him seriously. Ironically, I've said, for all the attempted bells and whistles put on him, I find him most intimidating when he's actually wrestling and lariating people. He's got a lovely lariat. And also, I'm not the most familiar with Joe Gacy's work pre-WWE, which you might be more.
Yes.
Do people know when he came into NXT, what was he thought of? Were people like, oh, he's good, he's a good wrestler?
He was seen as like a good hand in the sense that, not like that, but in the sense that he can wrestle at the level of the opponent he's in the ring with. So when he was against top level dudes in Evolve, against the guys like Jonathan Gresham and some of the people I can't name now, he was able to keep up that level, but wasn't able to get good matches out of crap wrestlers.
Okay.
So I saw plenty of them.
Well,
But and as evidenced by NXT, he's kept that up. He's able to hang with the likes of Wesley, Tyler Bate, etc.
This pick's been sort of inspired by like multi-man matches he's been in, where he hasn't just sort of held his own, he's been like a featured part of the match, and I've thought, oh, wow. And then the next week he ruins it by having... It's not his fault again, but it's ruined by giving him a crap promo or something.
You know, it was so hard for me, like being a politician like yourself, to look at the most underrated because nearly everyone is rated to some degree.
Yeah.
But looking at that, that's a perfect pick because
thank you.
Because
Wow.
most people are going to hear Joe Gacy and go, oh, him. Ooh. But you're right. If it wasn't for that gimmick, people would think of him more highly. So I think it's a very nice pick.
Thank you.
He also trained Cody to come back from his injury, didn't he? He was one of the chosen two.
That's right.
I don't know why I said that. Just taught
Was the
myself
other
out of
one
a
Cash
win.
Wheeler?
It was Carmelo Hayes, wasn't it? I think, the other one.
I only thought Cash because he always does.
He loves Edge, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right. I need to mention the debate between underrated and underutilized because there's a big difference. You can be used and also underrated at the same time. I'm attacking my pick this year, or this half year, from the point of those in charge of the booking of the things in the first half of the year, because I believe this person is underused because those in power don't view him to be as good as he actually is. The powers that be, Maffew, severely underrate this man. He is the man who carried the bollocks with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy at the start of the year. He is the only man to survive a feud with Bray Wyatt over the last however many years. He is the man who was left off Elimination Chamber. He is the man who was left off both nights of WrestleMania 39. He was the man who was left off Backlash in Puerto Rico. He is the man who was sat in the crowd like some kind of jabroni piece of trash at Night of Champions. He is the man who could well be the star of the second half of the year, but we're looking backwards and it's been nowhere near as good as it could have been. It's LA Knight. And from the perspective of the powers that be.
It's hard to argue. Because in terms of what people think of him versus what the company thinks of him, there is a big difference.
Listen to them pops.
Yep.
Yeah.
We call them fizzy over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, damn. I have absolutely nothing to add to that. You've summed it up so succulently. It's almost like you get paid to talk about wrestling for a living, Ross.
I didn't realise we were getting bombastic.
That's fantastic.
This half year Culties.
That was very, I was about to say, that was very Boris Johnson, that delivery.
Oh,
last
no.
week. Champion of the people, Ross Twell.
Most underrated, Boris Johnson.
Oh, I don't know
That's
about
a soundbite that'll exist forever.
For cheaty like this video.
At first, when you said LA Knight, I was like, is he underrated? But then when you mentioned all the things he's been left off, then yes. Yeah, he is. Fair enough.
He said, oh, we'll use LA Knight to put up Rick Boogs. And it's like, no, it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
No, it's good, that, isn't it? Because I realised I'm like, no one's underrated, but just underused. So, yeah, he is definitely that.
Because he's underrated.
Yeah, because he's underrated. Right, there you go. Ooh, so now the decider. Simply because LA Knight is going to win everything at the second half of the year, and probably some of these other awards we've got right here, I think it's fair to give it to Joe Gacy.
Oh.
Because, yeah, and by a week after this video comes out, no one's going to be saying LA Knight's underrated.
I know.
So,
Do you think he's going to win Money in the Bank?
I think so.
what's that word he says?
Oh, dummy.
That's right, he does say that.
It could be Logan Paul, couldn't it? That's the room. That's the scuttlebutt, isn't it? Could be Logan Paul getting
It could be.
the 7th slot in the match.
Why'd you have to ruin the mood
Do you
like
think
that?
do you think that he'd, rather than have a wrestler like have that briefcase with them dragging their booking down for the rest of the year, Logan could promote it through other mediums, media.
Imagine the Logan, that briefcase.
Yeah, it's every day, bro.
I don't know, man. Logan Paul.
That was an old reference. Not even the right Paul, was it? Never mind.
Logan Paul winning sounds like a bad joke. It almost sounds like a prime rib.
Oh.
Because he's got an energy drink called Prime
You got any
and ribs.
pics of your own to throw
I
in?
certainly do. Well done, Joe Gacy. You won something. Everyone I had down basically has already a push, as I said. So I had Grizzled Young Vets in the role as Schism Jism. It's hard for them to get any recognition, but now they're even wrestling less like the Jizz. I put Wheeler Yuta, but he got the pay-per-view main event win, so I can't put
Until
him.
very recently, yeah.
So I had the Guns.
Great shout, yeah.
Because
yeah.
everyone hates them. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. And people are like, no, Maffew, you don't understand wrestling. I'm like, I know. So
Oh,
move on
good shout.
to the next category. Most improved. That's got really good for the audio listeners. The strong gust of wind just entered the studio. Ross, who have you got for us?
I hate this man, but I'm sat here as a humble and impartial journalist in this prestigious awards event. He started his current life in professional wrestling as a mannequin who played poker. He has developed into an evil mastermind who is hell-bent on taking down Chase U from the inside out. He is the man who has proven he has all of the emotions, and he has the little quips on the mic to complement all of the emotions he now has. He is the man with the hot tag that is Dusty Rhodes and Hulk Hogan in one big, sexy Australian package. He is Duke Hudson. That is the most improved for the first half of the year. Duke Hudson. For the purposes of this awards ceremony, he will be called by his given name.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, it'd be a
Not
bit weird
what
if we
not
put
my-
a graphic up and it's a different name. Yeah, good point.
Not my personal opinions about he's taken down Chase U from the inside out. But he has
Fair
become
enough.
very good, hasn't he?
But is he taking down Chase U? Well, we'll talk about this.
Please, no. Well, for some reason, this award ceremony is 3 hours long. That's a good pick. I mean, you could make the argument that he's been like that for a while, but you could also say that, no, we know because we watch NXT 2.0. We could put anybody here for NXT and everyone's going to go, oh, yeah, fair enough, because apparently we're the only people who watch it and like
Yeah.
it. So
I'll tell you what swayed me vote this year was we did a live stream for the WrestleMania weekend event, Standard Deliver, and it was obviously Chase U taking down the Schism. The way they would, if the Schism would have won, they would have taken over Chase U and they would have had the Andre Chase detention hall. So there was a big match, and Dull Hudson was the performance of a lifetime. You know, you think of your acting performances of Heath Ledger and people like that. That was the comparative thing in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing.
I really want to hear more. And go on,
And
Ross.
it was on the kickoff show as well, which was a slap in the face to all professional wrestling connoisseurs.
Yes.
It wasn't even advertised for the kickoff show. It just got bumped.
They're supposed to take bumps. They're wrestlers.
Oh.
So that's a hell of a pick. Very hard to argue.
Yeah.
Jack, what have you got?
I've gone for a New Japan wrestler.
What you have? Sorry.
My word. Called Master Watto. Not the one from Phantom Menace. But all I can picture now is just...
Is that him who works in the trash yard thing?
Yeah, he
That's
owns
him.
it. He's
That's the one I've seen, Maffew.
No ship is worth 2 slaves.
Yeah, he rolls dice and that. Yeah, he's a very seedy character. No, this is a humble babyface boy.
Oh.
He had a fairly standard route for a New Japan wrestler at first. Spent a few years as a young lion, losing. Then went out on excursion. He went off to Mexico for a couple of years and lost a hair versus hair match. And then came back to Japan and suddenly his hair grew back and it was blue. It was blue, Alan. His hair was blue. And now his gimmick is man who likes the colour blue. He's Master Watto in the junior heavyweight division. At first, it was really hard to take him seriously because it's a division filled with serious ass-kicker lads. I've put Takahashi, Ishimori, El Desperado, and he's more like a child pretending to be an adult. But now... and we've also seen Shota Umino struggle to get over with the New Japan crowd after returning, unless he's with Moxley, because Moxley makes him cool. But otherwise, he's like doing a bad Tanahashi impression at the minute. It's weird. But in Watto's case, he's gone in the opposite direction and he's really broken out in this half year. The company's got behind him and he recently won the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, rising to the occasion in a fantastic final match against Titan from CMLL. And just seems to be doing all right. Good lad.
That's how you pronounce that? I've been calling him Titan.
I think it's Titan.
Oh.
I think Kevin Kelly was going Titan. I think.
If Kevin Kelly says it,
I
must
think,
be true.
yeah. And the other lad who gets everything right, Chris Charlton. Yeah, I think they were calling him Titan. This is about Master Watto.
It is so tempting to give you it just so we can put a picture of Most Improved. And of course, it's a picture of the lad from Star Wars. But I feel the joke would be missed on people because we don't really cover New Japan much here. So they might actually genuinely think that we're giving it to...
Or the original, or the prequel trilogy as well. We don't really cover that.
I think we've covered more of the prequel trilogy than we have New Japan this year, this half year. So people might actually think we're giving it to him, be like Darth Maul was robbed, etc., etc. Oh, it's tough because I don't know anything about this wrestler.
No, it's
so I'm
not,
saying about how I make Cultaholic
the
good.
very fact that we were once calling somebody dull and now call him delightful seems to imply that there's been quite a substantial improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're all right with that,
I'm
then
absolutely
I'm
fine with it,
absolutely
don't worry.
thrilled to give it to the Duke. No, not Newcomb. It's Hudson. Duke Hudson for Most Improved 2023.
It's the equalizer. It's 1-1.
I think I'd have been annoyed if you'd given that to me because when Ross said he was nominating Duke Hudson, I was like, oh yeah, of course. NXT is cleaning up so far.
Really is. Wow.
My God. Oh, God. We can't let that happen.
No, don't worry. Yeah. I had Most Improved. That's really hard. Leon Slater, but he was already really good last year. He's just getting more and more pushes and people going, oh, he's good. And I also put Thea Hale.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, right. I'm like, how can you improve? She's barely wrestled.
Well, she's the number one contender as we speak.
But this week she had a match that was watchable, and I remembered it.
And she's only like
She
20
stepped up
or
from
something,
nothing.
isn't
She's
she?
checked a cage match to see how many times she'd wrestled this year. She's 19 apparently.
Right, she's really
which
good.
I'm like, oh well, yeah, fair enough.
So it was a shoot gimmick when she was choosing which college to go to, and then she chose the performance center.
It's all legit.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's too legit to quit.
Should make it clear from my perspective that's the last NXT mention in the awards because I can see people turning off right now.
Mate.
Oh, they gave it the half promotion of the year last year. Nothing's
think-
changed here.
They're like, oh Maffew, please stop on Germany.
Mine is also the last. That's the last NXT nomination, I think, as well.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to proper awards now, which is followed by Most Charismatic.
Oh.
Jack
I'm
is the
going.
most charismatic. Sorry.
Oh, but I'm also going for Sami Zayn. And I'm saying I don't mean by nominating him that he's suddenly become charismatic this year. It's a charisma we've always known that he's had. It's just been very rewarding seeing WWE actually taking a chance on him. And he's paid off their faith in spades. The driving force, Sammy's been the driving force behind not one, but two of the most raucous crowd reactions we've seen, not just this year, but in years, both coming within the past 6 months. Montreal for Elimination Chamber and Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia as well. We've also seen in the past certain internet darlings be given a chance and then not immediately click with the live or the casual audiences, and we're all watching at home going, cheer them, and they don't. Whereas with Sammy, he's really translated to the casual fan as well and made himself, why have I put this? He's really made himself undeniable. He's gone from undesirable to undeniable, given the natural connection he has with the crowd.
Enough said. Ross?
Swerve Strickland. He is the current day Lex Luger, as in he is the total package.
Oh, right.
He's
okay.
effortlessly
He's got a bus.
He's effortlessly cool, and it's a shame he spent a large part of this year being Mr. Rampage. I know that's changed fairly recently, but for the first few months of the year, he was just solely on Friday nights. The entire presentation is there, and he nails it every single time he's on the screen, whatever he's doing. He has all the trappings of a main eventer in my eyes if he's booked right. It's the backstage promos, it's the in-ring promos, it's the swagger down to the ring, it's the stuff he's doing with his hired goons. That's been good as well. I think he's just been fantastic every time he's been on TV and given a chance to do something worthwhile. Swerve Strickland. Whose house?
Swerve's house.
Yeah.
Exactly. Only
Prove
he
me
can
point
make that.
there.
Yeah. Well done.
Not everyone can do it.
Two great picks. Swerve Strickland, I agree, is amazing at what he does, which is being the mid-card for AEW, who are cruelly overlooking him. But I fully agree with that. But yeah, Sami Zayn, this lad this year. And even if Montreal and Night Champions didn't happen, he'd still be up there.
The Rumble as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the Rumble,
Oh,
just him
yeah,
appearing
yeah,
every week
yeah.
on TV, it would be enough to clinch him the victory here. But God, those goosebumps.
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 You
I
know
say
that
goosebumps?
famous saying, up the goosebumps.
I think I said goosebumps. Bollocks. Sami Zayn, most charismatic.
Yeah.
Get a shiver down your spine, there's a goose there.
Jack Geese. LA Knight, don't laugh. LA Knight, I'll put stronger than fake crowd machines.
Yeah.
And can overcome Bray Wyatt's stupid Mountain Dew. And I'll put also Fraser Porter.
Okay.
Show your workings then. This is like an AQA exam.
Oh, of course. Yes.
32 marks, Maffew. Show your workings.
Oh, God, you said that. I pictured the dude in the front with the shades and the cap. Oh. Fraser just comes on here, gets a lot of love from the comments and stuff. They go, oh, he's good.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll let him know. And we'll go back next door.
Best non-wrestler. Ross.
Samantha Irvin. You don't know who that is, do you? By
Carry
name.
on, of course. When you explain it, I'll go, oh,
It's the female ring announcer on the main roster of WWE.
thank you.
It's the massive bollocks she gives it for an entrance for the likes of Gunther. It's the little tweaks she gives for the more fancy characters like Ludwig Kaiser. It's the little character enhancing stuff she gives to Chelsea Green. Like for an annoying Karen that she is. That's Chelsea Green, not Samantha Irvin. And she's only been doing it for a couple of years, and she's already, in my eyes, the best ring announcer we've had since the Fink.
Wow.
I think she's
High
that
praise.
good. She's very, very good. Watch her for a main event or any Gunter entrance. It's unbelievable signs. Unbelievable signs.
So you're not just putting her in because she's doing what you do.
What, shouting?
Say people's names funny.
No. She's... When have we ever seen a ring announcer do that, though, put a
Yeah.
little- to enhance the character?
I can
It's not
only
often you
think
get them gone.
of, I can't remember her name, but I think she's Brian Cage's real life partner. She was in Lucha Underground.
Okay.
And
Mrs. Cage.
She would, yes, and she would like, I think Pentagon had like attacked her once or tried to attack her, and she'd been saved. And then when she next announced him, she went like, "Oh, it's Pentagon." Like she was scared of him, so that worked. But not,
In fairness, we have seen, I guess, Justin Roberts has done a similar thing as in AEW when he's just like, oh, bollocks.
yeah, but not
Oh,
as,
Here comes
but
this
not as,
nonsense.
because she doesn't. I feel like that almost made it too much about the ring, and whereas she blends in seamlessly into
Yeah.
the product.
She's very good.
That's probably the first time we've nominated, either of us has nominated a ring announcer for best non-wrestler.
It's a nice pick.
Thank you.
Jack.
I've gone for Impact Wrestling's Tom Hannifan, or Tom Phillips, as we once knew him. Impact has been steadily delivering for a number of years now by doing the simple things well, building various strong divisions, the main event scene, the women's division, the X division, booking logical feuds that steadily push people up the pecking order, putting together varied pay-per-view cards with a nice mix of match types and stipulations. But on the production side of things, they've also tightened things up. I've said that Impact, or TNA, used to be somewhere you could absolutely rely upon for unintentional hilarity, and as great as Mike Tenay and Don West were, often their enthusiasm made them sound like they were reacting to the wrong product when things went bad. And you're like, what are they watching? Because they're like, this is amazing! And you're like, no, it's not. However, these days, Impact have a good product and good production which mutually benefit each other. So I'm going to give it to Tom Hannifan. You could argue he's more WWE style than Impact, like the clean-cut sportscaster type, but I think his style matches the new Impact Wrestling, the more professional Impact Wrestling. He knows when to be calm, he knows when to get louder and to emphasize the drama, and I also want to give a shout out to Matt Raywalt, or Aiden English, his broadcast partner. But I edged it to Tom because he's the play-by-play guy, he's got a bit more to do. So there we go.
Ooh. Those are both good picks because you're right. Impact Wrestling has improved the
Yeah.
quality of production, but you'll only see them, when someone comes out and goes, "Where's the line?" It sounds like the quietest room on earth, but
Yeah.
those are few and far between.
Oh, that was. I know who that was.
Yeah, between
Was that this year, was it?
it was last year.
Was it last year?
But, yeah, Tom and Matt realised that's the SmackDown Cultaholic Classic review here, isn't it? Bloody hell. Well, whatever.
Exactly the same.
God, yeah. Are two very good commentators. I do like we're being positive towards Impact. Don't get enough love, especially from us. But I also like your pick, the ring announcer job. Such an underrated, you only notice it when it's bad type role. And the fact that you have noticed it, because you are such a wrestling expert, shows how good she is. So I like
Cheers,
that.
Maffew.
I'm trying to be nice. If I say nice things, you forget I said goosebumps. But yeah, I'll go with you, Ross.
Oh,
Samantha.
up the Samantha,
I'm going to pay more attention to her next time I'm watching Raw.
which is very good.
I don't know how she keeps her voice in good nick because she really goes for it.
If you want a little bit of accoutrement to watching her do her stuff, follow her on the gram because she puts her phone down there when she's doing the ring announcing, and it's an experience to watch her. It looks like she's going to explode.
She's also a natural feud for when Brandy makes her WWE re-debut because she'll be like, "Who told you were the best ring announcer? I am." Because she used to be. You kind of forget that Brandy was a ring announcer first.
Yeah, I
She
do.
was AJ Styles' sister, wasn't she? Eden Styles.
Oh, right.
That was her name. Do
Eden Styles was her ring name.
you remember?
I got lost there. What are you talking about?
Brandy Rhodes' WWE name was Eden Styles.
Yeah.
When was she?
She was the
doing
ring
that?
announcer.
The middle of the last decade.
Yeah.
For what brand?
SmackDown.
Main roster, yeah.
No memory.
Really? Wow. When Cody left, that's when she left, obviously.
Obviously.
And then she was doing his. So when he turned up at like PWG, she'd be his ring announcer.
Right.
And she'd go like the grandson of a plumber.
Alberto Del
No.
Rhodes.
It was a weird period, wasn't it? So yeah, good pick there. Thank you very much, Ross. I have best non-wrestler RJ City because, I mean,
Well, he's hit or miss on this podcast, isn't he?
No, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't like him. I know it's meant to be cringy, but sometimes I just want to hear the wrestlers tell a story. He had Sky Blue on, and she's so shy, and he was overshadowing her.
it is just the RJ City show, and the person has to strap themselves in.
He's good though. I feel like he'd be entertaining to meet in real life and talk to.
Yes.
Is he a friend of yours?
Of course he is. Danielson when commentating BCC matches. And also for best non-wrestler, I have cynically put CM Punk. I was so tempted to put that in. I thought somebody else would put that in.
Zing.
The hilarity, best non-wrestler this half year. The lad. Best gimmick.
Who goes first? I've forgotten
It's
where we
me.
It's Jack.
Go on.
Hi, I'm the problem. I've gone for Mommy Rhea Ripley. Rhea was heading along the same trajectory before joining the Judgment Day. I think she'd still have succeeded, but since she's joined, it has really been a catalyst for her getting to where she is now. Really helped her become a more well-rounded heel, and I think Dom should be given credit for helping her look even more menacing in contrast. It's not the most complex gimmick she's got in the world, but it doesn't have to be. She's what the women's division has been needing for a long time now. Not just a good wrestler, because we're used to like workers like Bayley and Sasha and Becky and Asuka and all that, but she's like, I've said here she's the closest thing to a Brock Lesnar the women's division has, especially after squashing Natalya the other week. And I've said this. The exciting thing is, it still feels like this is only the beginning. Where could she go? Because I think she's still like in her sort of mid to late 20s. Like she's still young. She's still got how far she'll go. You mentioned Moana the other day, and the song's been stuck in my head.
Moana.
Triple H lip syncing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, can't remember that one.
Aye. I made a mistake last night speaking about the Fast 10 franchise. I was like, oh, you seen that new one with Jason Moana as the bad guy?
Jason Moana.
Yeah. Silly guy I am, eh?
So that's three actors you know.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Jack, that was very beautifully put.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, Rhea Ripley. Come on, Ross.
Woof.
Go bring out the big dogs now. Go on.
Yeah, well, here you go, Maffew. Chain this lad to a tree and see if he breaks the chain. Because he will. I feel like Charlie Nicholas now. Anyway, this gimmick kicked off with a wonderful vignette on Christmas Eve last year when this fella and his mammy went to his mother's house. After being released, I've copied this from Wikipedia because it's fantastic to read out. After being released from police custody, Dominic took on an additional gimmick of being a former convict who had served time in prison in the world's most with the world's most dangerous people, but in reality, he'd only been in county jail for a few hours. On Valentine's Day, Dom and Rhea intruded on Ray and Angie's Valentine's Day dinner, where the latter the latter party immediately gave way to the former. At the end of the dinner, Dominic fled at the restaurant. It's not worth reading all this out, as I've just copied Wikipedia. You know what happened on Valentine's Day?
This is quite detail heavy.
He referred to himself on that night as the most wanted man on TikTok after 2 police officers entered the premise. That's the punchline there. Rhea was left to pick up the bill after leaving. And then we've got obviously Dom, Damien, and Rhea leaving Ray's Hall of Fame induction. Just everything involved in that Ray versus Dominic storyline. Heightened Dominic as con man Don, as we all saw. His entrance at WrestleMania was fantastic. His promos are suitably naff, and that's the way it should be. Yeah. So you boo him more because you think he's terrible, even though I think it's by design, maybe, hopefully. He's not just that naff on the mic, just in reality. And just it goes off the reactions, it's the presentation. It's obviously, as Jack mentioned there, his like the growing like camaraderie with Rhea Ripley on TV is like when he's jumping on her, like hugging her, and like when she got handed the new title the other day, he was the first one. He did a Carly, didn't he? When Jinder won the title, took it straight off her and held it in the air. He's just coming to his own and just, the prison man Dominic is my gimmick of the half year so far.
Wow. So we've got both sides of the same coin here.
Yeah.
Rhea or Dom. Man.
It's the proverbial two-face.
Yeah. Harvey Dent. Man, it's tough because they've been so good. And damn it, I'm annoyed that I didn't put most improved Dom.
Yeah.
We are crap amazing. At this, aren't we?
We suck at this. We don't know anything about wrestling. So I think just because of that, because he has made such massive strides, Rhea's been great for ages, but the gimmick is amazing, but they are both helping each other so wonderfully. I'm going to give it to Dom.
His is more of a gimmick as well, I think.
Yeah.
And
it is rubbing off on her because you know it's on Raw this week. On Raw this week, Damian Priest started speaking Spanish, and then Rhea Ripley cut him off because she's been learning Spanish from her Latino heat. Of course, it's the little things.
Oh my God, it's like Kurosawa. Wow.
Just like Eddie Guerrero used to do.
Boo. Oh, it works so well. God. Oh, well done, Dom.
Well done, Dom.
Now moving on to Feud of the Half Year.
Oh, what? And it came fast as lightning.
Ross.
It's the Bloodline versus Sami and Kev and also itself. Do we need to go through all the beats? The start of the year with the trial of Sami Zayn on Raw, where he was accused of being in cahoots with KO. Later that night, Sami replaces Ninja Jimmy Uso and defends the tag team titles on behalf of the Bloodline. Then we get to the turn at the Rumble, probably the second best crowd reaction of the year so far after Bad Bunny's entrance. The Heartbreak in Montreal. Jay turns on Sami at the end of that episode of Raw. The main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Let's not mention the end of Night 2 at WrestleMania, where Kevin and Sami also got involved to make it like a Bloodline thing. And the likes of Imperium, Judgment Day, and the LWO having like secondary roles for a week or two, where the universe became this nice intertwining thingy, which you don't see all the time in WWE. We have Jimmy Uso getting carried away and calling himself the Tribal Chief. The tag title match and the turn from Jimmy at the Night of Champions. And now Solo turns on his brothers to stay with Roman because the elders have sent him to protect Roman. And what will Jay do next? I think that's all the main beats of that storyline this year.
Yeah. I think just a bit. I'm very impressed that you didn't just say Bloodline.
I could have done
Bloodline, and no one would have gone, oh no, we need more detail, Ross. Why should we consider it for this? Absolutely, Ross. This is going to be so hard for Jack to
I've gone for Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline, but it's the same. It's all, my nomination is essentially the same as Ross's. And all I've got written down is just similar stuff that you've already recapped. So I'll mention what would have been like my sort of secondary pick, but this isn't my nomination though because it's not as good. But Hangman versus Moxley, they were having just a series. It was quite an uncomplicated feud. They just capitalized on what was an unfortunate real injury to Hangman, and then he came back and then knocked out Moxley, and then kept getting interviewed by his wife. Just be like, yeah, I knocked out your husband, sorry. And then Moxley came back and beat him. I think they had 4 matches in total, culminating in the very vicious, what was the stip again? Was it bull rope match?
Texas Death
match.
Texas Death match, that was it, at Revolution.
Revolution.
Where there was so much blood, and it was really nasty. But But my main pick though is the same as Ross. Yeah.
Oh, you get goosebumps thinking about that final spot, don't you? In that death match. Oof.
The hangman is literally the hangman.
Yeah. I always get goosebumps thinking about stuff. Wow. So Feud of the Year is either Bloodline versus Bloodline or Bloodline versus Sammy.
Can we
just put everything involving the Bloodline?
Saga.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes. The ones directed by Lucas. Easy pick there. My resume go back to my pick for best gimmick was also just going to be the Bloodline. I said the quality of the storyline has raised the overall quality of WWE's TV like a good bread, and I'll say the same for this. Easy pick, innit? Because it's that good.
Yeah.
What needs to be said.
Yeah.
Now on to the interesting ones. Now, show of the half year.
Kaboom! In it came.
Jack.
Oh, is it me?
It is you.
Oh God.
You are Jack.
So I've gone back to New Japan, but don't worry because I've written down the matches that happened. Don't worry. I've gone for Sakura Genesis, which is I think I'm fair in saying it's like their third biggest annual pay-per-view. So you've got Wrestle Kingdom in the January, Dominion in the summer, and then the spring one is Sakura Genesis. Down the stretch, because there was a lot of, this was maybe the hardest one I had to pick because there was a lot of good shows in this half year already. But this one had the most consistent final stretch, I've said here. So the final 4 or 5 matches all delivered. And here they are. Mercedes, I went, and here they are. Maffew his expression didn't change. He just went, how well then? That's how. Mercedes Moné beat Azumi and Hazuki in a triple threat match. Zack Sabre Jr. retained the TV title against Shota Umino. Zack's TV title reign's actually been really good because it's got a 15-minute time limit. And Zack Sabre Jr. matches, I think, are the best at the moment when they're constrained a little bit because sometimes he can just keep putting lads in. We all know what Zack Sabre Jr. matches are, but when he's just got a sprint, he's brilliant. Aussie Open beat Goto and Yoshihashi to win the tag belts, widely regarded as one of the best tag team matches of the year so far. Hiromu Takahashi beat Robbie Eagles in a fast-paced junior heavyweight match. And in the main event, it was a shock title change as Sonata finally beat Okada to win the belt, and it's one of the more thrilling Sonata matches I've ever seen. So I've gone for that one, but that's why.
It's interesting because I remember, I haven't seen the show, but I remember the reaction online.
Right.
So I had to be on Twitter the same day. I don't know why. But I was like, Sonata?
I wasn't too, I didn't watch it live. So when I heard that Sonata had won, I was like, ugh, because he's never really clicked with me.
Yeah.
But then I watched the match and it was actually very good. So it's one of the more enjoyable Sonata matches. He's clicked with me outside the ring. I've always thought he is real, how cool he is.
Yeah.
But then you watch his matches, you're like, he's a bit too pretty and fluffy. I don't know how to describe it. He's too clean. It's not a struggle.
It's like a dog.
He's like a dog. But now he's got that dog in him. Because he's the IWGP World
Okay.
Heavyweight.
Well done. Yes. That was promo after he won. He held at the moon. Okay. It's tough.
It is tough.
What have you got?
AEW Revolution.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho kicked off the night. Then Christian Cage exploded in a coffin. So what more do you want? After that match with Jungle Boy, we had the House of Black versus the Elite. Then we had Jamie Hayter defeating Saraya and Ruby Soho via pinfall. Then we had that Hangman versus Moxley Texas death match. Wardlow versus Samoa Joe. Bit of a sleeper match, but was all right for 10 minutes, a tight 10. Then we had the Guns defeat the Acclaimed and J&J and Orange and Danhausen in a 4-way tag team title match. And then we had the small matter of the best Iron Man match in North American professional wrestling history between MJF and Danielson to cap it all off.
Yeah, it's a good show, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a crazy good show.
Yeah.
Very good pick. And I actually watched it. So that makes it by
can't
default.
give it 'cause of that.
Better. Oh, it's so tough. Yeah, I'm picking Revolution.
I don't begrudge that because reading out the card there made me realise the quality throughout. And also, wasn't there the women's title match wasn't maybe the most exciting match, but didn't that have Ruby's heel turn after it as well, maybe? We had a shocking heel turn.
That's
Possibly.
right. Yeah, it did make. I think it was the lowest bit, like, because it was like, why would you team up then? And then, sorry, not team up, I should say. Agree with it, but
my point
whatever.
was, it wasn't just the matches that were noteworthy. There was other stuff that happened as well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Very good point. Even the bad stuff had good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, good pick there, pal. I had a very boring pick at WrestleMania Night 1.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, but yeah, just because how consistently great it was. Do we need to go through? You guys watch WrestleMania, right? But tag
They
team
might be
title main event.
reminding it was a long time ago.
You're right. Owens and Zayn beating the Usos.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley defeating Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
Ray versus Dom Dom.
Yeah.
Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
Yeah.
The amazingly good Street Profits four-way match, which had no reason to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. And Theory versus John Cena. So that was great.
That's all John could do. Apparently, he was there.
Yeah.
But it's all right because he told Theory how crap he was privately before he went out
okay.
and told everyone else.
And it had no effect on him in the long-term run at all. Also, Backlash for the crazy atmosphere alone.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You could say the same for Night of Champions, arguably, as well.
I was going to say, yeah, but...
Because as controversial as WWE's deal is with Saudi
course.
Arabia, it's not the people's fault who live there.
Of course.
And they made a great atmosphere for the show. So, yeah.
They certainly did. So, well done, AW. Look at you winning something. But I'm going to take the even more clean match. Match of the half year. Ross.
I've gone for the IC triple threat match at WrestleMania, sponsored by Mike's Harder Lemonade, because the world needs more Mikes.
Sponsored by
Damn
Mike.
right was hard.
Do you remember the podcast before when we were previewing the show and we all just started like howling?
Oh,
at
yeah.
The prospect of this match. Oh!
It lived up to that, did it not?
Yes.
Well, first and foremost, Titus O'Neil was brilliant on commentary. He made the
he
action
was.
even better. Call the police! Shout, he didn't have a clue what was going on. It was fantastic. The story heading in with Drew and Sheamus, obviously quite nice, with Sheamus wanting to complete the full set. Drew going, no. And just getting involved. Drew and Sheamus not liking each other, so they just battered each other. There was a spot with the chop and the beat of the whatever you call it behind. I always forget that name. Bowdrin
or something. I don't know.
We're not watching that. You know what? Gunter getting battered by both of them. I've said that. The Avalanche White Noise and then Celtic Cross on Gunter for a near fall. The brogue kick looks like it's over, but Drew pulls Sheamus off of Gunter. Sheamus's face was absolutely brilliant. We had a Claymore countered by a brogue kick, then a kick out from Drew, then a brogue countered into a Claymore. Sheamus kicks out. I think I said that right. Another brogue, but Gunter breaks up the pinfall with a splash. Then powerbombs Sheamus onto Drew. Then Drew once more and gets the win. Wow, wow, wow. Call the police indeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree with everything you say there, pal.
Yeah, because it all happened.
Yeah. Agree with that. Hell of a pick.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Jack, which obscure Japanese match have you got?
I've gone for Gunter versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
You and your crazy picks.
But I haven't written any notes because Ross is the... So I'll mention what was my runner-up pick, which
Go
would
on.
have been Omega versus Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, because when that match was announced, a lot of people went, oh, because they thought, we know exactly what this match is going to be. It's going to be Omega and Ospreay. It's going to be overly theatrical and silly and over the top. When they defied expectations, I think, by having quite a gritty and dark match, and it was quite hard hitting and maybe a bit shorter than people thought as well, and really fully worked because of it. Everyone went, actually, as far, even people who aren't fans of like Ospreay or Omega's style went like, actually, that was really good. But I couldn't give it to anything else other than the IC triple threat, because call the police.
That's the only reason.
Yeah,
that one call.
Call
I've
the
got
police because the show has been stolen.
here. I've got a few honourable mentions. Omega versus Vikingo on Dynamite was unbelievable out of nowhere.
That's right.
The Elite versus BCC at Double or Nothing was up there for me. Just exploding boots and whatnot, and everything else that happened. And then MJF and Danielson, as I said earlier, the best Iron Man I've seen ever.
Maybe just maybe not as an out and out match in terms of action, but in terms of the payoff, the main event of Mania Night 1, the Usos and Sami and Kev, just for the happy. Oh, I was happy.
Yeah,
It's the IC title match, isn't it?
of course it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing match, amazing story, amazing atmosphere, amazing to watch your mates at 4 a.m. surrounded by Doritos packets. Oh, thank you, Mike's Hard Lemonade.
The world needs more mics.
That's what they say.
Apparently, Mike's Hard. Oh, I don't know if I should say this.
Please,
Do you know what I'm going to say?
go on.
Apparently, Mike's Hard Lemonade is the drink that it's often associated with the program To Catch a Predator, because that's often the drink. Because that's
How is it associated with that?
because it's like an alcopop, isn't it? It's like how the controversy with alcopops is that it tastes nice to kids. It's going to encourage them to drink.
Right.
So apparently that's always the drink that like the predators bring along. Like, hey, I brought some Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I did not know that.
And
neither.
And then Hayden Vancy Wanson's like, why don't you take a seat over there? Yeah.
I thought they were going to say, like, Mike's Hard Lemonade proudly sponsors Edge Predator.
Maybe it should capitalize on. Oh, no.
No, it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
It should do the opposite of what Jackson said there. The very opposite.
Well, it's Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I think it was Sam who told me this. Because I think when we first went to America, I think we were walking around the grocery store or 7-Eleven or something and saw it. And I was like, Mike's Hard. And he was like, let me tell you something about Mike's Hard Lemonade, brother.
He starts cutting a promo and a drink. Oh,
Dear.
thank you for that. Promotion of the half year.
It's me,
Jack.
New Japan.
Yeah,
Sorry.
of course it is.
I've said, but in a shameless attempt to win your vote, I've put, they're getting back on track like when Metallica released Death Magnetic after Saint Anger.
Okay, that's
Saint
nice,
Anger's
yes.
not well received.
No, it's rubbish.
Death Magnetic was them getting back on track.
It's rubbish. There are people who are apologists
Are they?
for Saint Anger, which makes me angry.
Frantic's a good toe tapper.
At a push.
Makes a good clock noise. Good.
Yes.
It
Set
wasn't
your
unt-
watch to it.
It wasn't until, I know we both are a fan of this YouTube series, Train Records. It wasn't until I watched his video on Saint Anger that I realised apparently the snare drum's a big issue because it sounds like an oil drum. So the whole album, it's going clunk.
Right.
Weird.
I honestly, when I bought that album, the thing that got me was not the drum. It's a giant meme now for people. They always make fun of it. It's the first thing. I never paid attention to the drum. I paid attention to how rubbish the rest of the songs were. Anyway, sorry, go off. What's great about New Japan?
Well, I said many people coming into this might be like, many people who watch Stardom will be like, I hope Jack reps Stardom again. And I've said no. They have continued their form from last year, which made me nominate them for promotion of 2022. However, as impressive as they've been in continuing this momentum, there have been certain decisions which in my eyes have knocked them a little bit. Julia's title reign was a little bit mishandled towards the end, in my opinion, and they really didn't make enough of Mercedes Moné being there. I know it's now ended with her being injured and stuff, but she was having like surprisingly short matches, and they should have made it a bigger deal, in my opinion. She's a star. Quoting Louis Walsh there. But New Japan have delivered throughout the year. Their 3 big shows have all delivered in terms of quality: Wrestle Kingdom, Sakura Genesis, and recently Dominion. The Best of the Super Juniors tournament was a success as well. As I mentioned, Watto versus Titan was a great final. And they're heading towards a very hyped Forbidden Door show with AEW. And they've also announced that Eddie Kingston's going to be in the G1 Climax, which I'm very excited for. So this is all despite losing Ospreay to injury for most of the year and Jay White leaving for AEW. So they lost a couple of top Western names for most of the year, and they've still done really well, in my opinion.
Oh, wow, they lost Jay White. How are they coping?
In New Japan, he was the top heel, so let's not...
Sorry, Tubman. But no, that's a very nice summary for someone who hasn't been paying a lot of attention in New Japan. New Japan.
They're not back to where they were sort of 8 years ago, but they're getting there. They're getting there.
Good. I'm very happy for them. But I'm even happy to hear what Ross has got.
Well, my choices are limited because I wanted to pick something I watch. I didn't want to just go for, seeing good things about New Japan on Twitter. I'm going to go, that's something obviously Jack watches.
Oh my God.
Obviously,
I thought he was cutting a promo.
Jack watches, but I'm saying I could have easily gone good things. But so out of AEW, WWE, and NXT, I've gone for the WWE, the main roster. WrestleMania was largely good, minus the ending and parts of Night 2. Backlash was largely good. Yes. Elimination Chamber was largely good, minus the ending. Night of Champions was better than most Saudi shows. Yes, it was. The moments, though, is what sets it apart from the other 2 promotions. For me, obviously, we've been through a lot of those moments with Dominic Mysterio and the Bloodline and Sammy and Kevin and everything like that. So just because it's ticked... If you had a list of things to complete in the wrestling, like matches, yes. Moments, yes. They've ticked more of that list. That's my rationale for giving it to WWE. Even though Vince McMahon came back this year.
Yeah, obviously. We're just focusing on the in-ring product, the stuff that we watch as viewers.
Exactly.
Because there's no such good thing. Sorry, no such thing as a good billionaire. Easy for me to say. So
it's weird that having this nomination makes perfect sense now, but in 6 months' time, just depending on what Vince does, could be totally down the drain. It's mad.
Yeah, apparently he's been calling in changes, Maffew, from his telephone on the weekly, on Raw and stuff.
It's a tenuous...
Well, the anonymous Raw GM.
It's a tenuous situation, but for now, Triple H is doing well.
Right, let's just enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
I fully agree with Ross. Sorry, New Japan. But I'll just do that a little dig at Jack.
Swine.
Of course.
Those poor underdogs, New Japan, they never catch a break.
Bless him. But yeah, WWE's just been so entertaining, and I blame the Bloodline. Just how good it's been. It's been dominating TV. I've been looking forward to watching. More SmackDown than Raw.
Yeah.
I'd say. Even now, after the brand split, which seems to have existed and not existed at the same time, but whatever. It's new wrestling.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's just been like, oh, what's going to happen next? Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe they'll even wrestle at some point. Ooh. Yeah, in terms of like I said, even Night of Champions. I told people, look, it's a really good show. If you don't want to watch it, I'll absolutely get it. But it was really good.
Yeah.
And I know it's a very annoying. Rumble was good, minus Bray Bloody Wyatt. And Elimination Chamber, all the shows you mentioned.
God, the Rumble, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But
It's been fun to watch. It's been great as a thing to watch and enjoy and be a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
It has been.
Poor NXT. Hasn't got a look in.
Even NXT's big shows. I've had.
Oh, yeah, the big shows have.
That's
yeah.
the thing. Like,
Battleground.
Yeah.
they've been so different to the rest of the TV shows. It's
Yeah.
been
Honestly,
unreal.
if you hate NXT, and we know there's a lot of people that do, just watch Battleground and you'll get a new appreciation for that roster.
But then don't watch the weekly TV.
I can see people doing the other way around. No, I like the silly bits. There's none of them in the pay-per-views.
Well, I like the silly bits.
I like the silly bits. That's why I like
course we do.
wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. So, WWE, well done for winning promotion at the half year.
Have you got any runner-ups?
Nah.
Then can I throw one in?
Oh, please do.
Well, Stardom have still done well. And my new favourite promotion ever, the Stardom phase is over. I've got a new phase now. I'm now a fully fledged fan of Big Japan. That's my new favourite promotion.
Oh, who's your any favourites or matches and stuff? You like?
Yeah, there was a match just this last month, Yuji Okabayashi versus, I can't remember his name, and now he's the top champion, but they're my favourite promotion. I talk about it on Matches of the Month. It's a great match. He trained him, and he batters him, but then he loses. This came just after a death match featuring someone who's trained by Abdullah the Butcher and is also called Abdullah, but then...
Kobayashi?
Yeah, he's crap. But...
He is, but I love him.
bleeds and chops and uses weapons and that. Big Japan, I was watching
Wait,
it.
are you watching Big Japan for the death matches now? I just assumed you'd be
No,
part of the
no,
Big
no.
Lads division.
No, it was just on before the match I wanted to watch.
I was going to say.
And I
Jack's
still-
death match phase.
Still had a class time watching it though, because me and Aidan and Fraser were like looking over my shoulder going, every match that was on was something different, whether it was good or bad. And I was like, I bloody love Big Japan, even though I can't currently recall the name of the top champion.
Fair enough. You've got lots of stuff to fit in this little head of yours.
That meme, friendship ended with Stardom.
Yeah.
Friendship ended with Stardom. Big Japan is now my best friend.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Oh.
Oh, also, AEW, okay, yeah, runner-up.
Oh, they got back on track this year. Good and proper, yeah.
This
Oh,
could be
absolutely. They've
the
had that-
second half of the yeah.
And now it's funny because at the literal half point when this is the week CM Punk returns.
I
So I
know.
can see this like, wait, everything's going all right. And then the roller coaster of,
And then
there
even
we
better.
go.
Whoa!
Thankfully, this is
Yeah,
going
but also,
live.
I was going to say, our the views on YouTube videos, CM Punk did one going up. So thank you,
People are
Tony.
getting sick of him.
Yeah, people are getting sick of him.
I'm not.
He hasn't even done anything.
I
He's
know.
there all the time in the news. People just love writing things about him, even though he's not there. But thankfully, this video is going live today, so it's like up to date to this very day it went live.
Yeah.
The exact moment
I
before it
can't-
happened.
Wait to try and nominate just Collision at the end of the year, not Dynamite.
Oh, God, I don't know about that.
I'm a Collision boy.
That's right. And of that, by the way, on the podcast, we've stopped talking about Rampage. I haven't seen anyone complain.
No, not one.
And they
You're
even,
like, what's Rampage?
they even booked like Shibata and stuff, and we still went.
Aubrey Edwards has got a match. Is that on Rampage or
That
Dynamite?
is going to be class. She's going to have a match with Karen.
Is it going to be class?
Yeah,
Is it on Rampage or Dynamite?
don't know.
It's going
I
to
hope it's on
exist.
Dynamite.
I'll watch it if it's on Rampage,
Yeah.
but I won't necessarily.
It will be one. It'll be on Jack's Matches of the Month,
Will it?
which you can
Maybe.
find.
On the podcast feed.
Yeah. But never mind that. Rest of the half year. Strap yourselves in. Oh, it's already done it. Fantastic. Who was last? It was... Ross, you ought to go.
Well, in previous years, I've gone for like a holistic approach to rest of the year. I've gone for, the bell-to-bell action, but everything as like the microphone skills and backstage segments, all that sort of stuff. But this time, I've just gone for purely bell-to-bell. And my wrestler of the half year, purely bell-to-bell, is Kenny Omega, because he's had more standout matches than anyone on my, promotions that I watch. Obviously, the match that Jack mentioned that I haven't seen, but everyone seems to say it's amazing, so I'll just go along with it. At Wrestle Kingdom 17 with Will Ospreay. The Elite versus BCC at Double or Nothing. I guess his part in the turn with Don Callis should also be brought up here. The match with Vikingo on Dynamite. I think there's probably a couple more that I'm
Cage
missing.
match with Moxley.
The cage match with Moxley. Oh, yeah, when he snapped his knee in half. There's probably a couple more outside of that as well. And also on top of that, his stellar promo when shilling the AEW game of the masses. He hasn't missed a beat this year. And I just think he's had more standout matches than all of the other wrestlers I watch.
It's fair enough.
I'd argue.
He's back.
But Jack's going to do his best.
I've gone the opposite of what Ross said, so I've gone for more of a not just bell-to-bell action, although he has had some good matches, maybe not as many as Omega, but in terms of the journey he's taken us on, I've gone for Sami Zayn again.
I think you start singing then.
Don't stop believing in Sami Zayn. I'm going to echo much of what I said in the nomination for most charismatic, but his personality can also overshadow how good he is in the ring, which I've said makes for an incredible full circle moment for someone who was initially a non-speaking character in Ring of Honor, although we don't admit that was the same person because it's
I
funny.
don't know what you're talking about. Move on.
He's also had good matches. The main event of WrestleMania Night 1, the match with Roman once he made his comeback was electrifying, but then he obviously lost. And yeah, I'm just. I think a lot of this nomination is more as well that I'm just so delighted to see a wrestler that has been underused for so long finally get the recognition he deserves. Even if he didn't win the belt, at least it's something, and at least he's the hero. Wow!
Oh. 2 amazing curly-haired picks.
Oh yeah!
Up the curly hairs.
Up the frizz.
Up the frizz.
Up the leg-based signature moves.
The wrestling frizzness. I'll pick Sami Zayn.
Ooh!
I could see this one coming. The 1 year I changed my tactic for wrestling. Disgusting.
Because you're right, Kenny Omega can be voted for Wrestler of the Year or half year, any bloody year really, because he's Kenny Omega. But Sami Zayn.
God, you hate Kenny Omega.
I don't know. He's just.
I thought he was a friend of Maffew.
You got to pick the people who have gone from down here to all the way up here just naturally by themselves, by being so bloody great. And this is a lad, we have to remind everyone, who used to wrestle, not even in the main events, we used to wrestle at Northumbria Uni like 10, 12, 13 years ago. And
Kenny Omega would have done that in Winnipeg. Winnipeg Uni, forgot one. I don't know.
Winnipeg, yeah, all these other things.
Double.
Yeah.
You. Winnipeg Uni.
Woo. To see him make all these strides and just get naturally over by being so damn great, being part of one of the best things in the company, maybe ever, I'd say, the Bloodline saga, such as it is, to be headlining all these shows, get massive reactions, all the crazy stuff he's doing with his real life mates. Have a match after match, segment after segment, killing every single thing he's in. Bloody hell, Sami Zayn.
You could have known. I mean, there could have been. If we're going to mention sorry, I'll let you do. Have you got supplementary?
No, please go ahead.
You could mention most people involved in the Bloodline stuff as well for this. Yeah. Kevin, Roman, Jay.
I think they're just starting to come into their thing now because obviously it's just a half year.
Yeah.
I think overall in the year, that sure.
If Roman wrestled just a little bit more.
Yeah, holistically, I think if we're doing it like that, Roman would be. But I'd say it's the complete package like you were doing. I'd say Sami Zayn.
Moxie's had another good year.
Gunter was up there for
Gunter
me.
as well, yeah.
I just don't know if he had that many,
I didn't want to even say it.
I thought that was
is it obvious for me to say Gunther. Okay,
that's
Gunther.
a cheat code for this awards, though. If you get to say to Maffew, Gunther, rest of the half year, yes, I agree with you.
Gunther was injured during all of it. Maffew he was in hospital. Yeah, Gunther the half year award. I'll put Charlotte Flair mockingly.
She's back now, though.
Yeah. I know, it's more.
Walking into a title.
I was going to say, I'm surprised she hasn't come running in this studio.
That was what I mean. It was, here comes Charlotte. Danielson.
Yes.
I think the heel turn has rejuvenated him.
Yeah.
Not saying he wasn't going nowhere, but it happened for a reason. I lost to MJF. Bloody hell. All right, I'm turning heel. I'm going to beat people up and be great at it and beat Mini Regal. Cody, in terms of complete packages as well, in terms of the matches he's had and the charisma and the crap tattoos. And obviously, to give NXT their due, Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, he doesn't miss.
And total package. I don't know if I've used that over and over again, the Lex Luger, but yeah.
Up the Lex Luger.
Up the Lex Luger. The Lex Luger award for being the total package. Yeah.
Really?
I tell you what, yeah.
Won the Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Great match with Charlotte at Mania as well.
Yeah. In terms of, I'd say she's the best on the roster right now.
Bianca as well, I guess.
If it hadn't been for the fact that she was getting some boos.
I know.
If it hadn't been for that, I mean, I fully agree. Again, like I said, you can only be pushed so much unless you run out of opponents, basically. She was so good, she beat everybody. It's like,
that's true.
Bye. But you know what? You know who the real winners are?
Sami Zayn.
Yes, that's true.
Sorry.
Yes. Wrestling fans, what an amazing half year we've had so far. Can you believe there's another 6 months left of the year of our Lord 2023?
It actually has been a good half year, hasn't it?
Yeah. We can all go, oh, God, I have to watch 5 hours of AEW. But it's been pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view wise and the WWE shows has not been any bad ones.
It's been the best half year for years, hasn't it?
Yeah,
What you said doesn't sound good, but it is true.
Yeah, but like you think about, maybe the first half of last year, or first half of the year before
Yeah.
that, been the best half year for years.
Yes. Especially WWE have really become more consistent. It's just terrifying to know that at any moment it could all come crashing down.
It feels like in a mobster film, where this is the bit where they've done the bank job, they've got all the money, and everything was great, and then suddenly the music starts playing.
Gallus rats them out of the police.
Yes. Inside with Knuckles. But luckily, we've all got Peacock subscriptions, just like Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Well, do you agree with these picks?
No.
Do you disagree with picks? Who would you have picked? Please let us know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. We will be back for more lovely Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast action every week on Fridays.
Apart from Money in the Bank week, which will be out on a Thursday. Because
Yes.
of people travelling down.
Yes.
Yes.
2 editors and me gone forever. Never to be seen again.
Wow.
I was about to go like Raul Moat there.
And we were doing so good,
Obviously,
weren't we?
casting yourself in his, and
Yeah.
the other two are the accomplices.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So good. Thanks for watching.
Oh my
Shit.
God.
No one will die.
Yeah.
I was going to say join us, but no, don't.
Thanks,
Not
Joel,
for that.
as well by the camera.
Thank you,
Thanks
Joel.
for doing the, whoa. Have you got a last one, like in community, like cool Arbed pictures, like your face? No. Okay, cool. He doesn't.
Ta-ra.